car on electricity.
Look at that, all electric.
Keep coming.
Certainly much more off-road capable, and I would say athletic than me. Yeah. Let's face it, a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with those big knobby tires is basically a brick into the wind. And if you wanted a fuel-efficient car, this would be the very last car on your list. Or would it be that? Because this is the brand new Jeep 4xe. Yep, it's a plug-in hybrid that gets 49 mpge equivalent and can run up to 21 miles on all electricity. But is it any good off-road? Well, only one way to find out. All right, full disclosure, guys. First, Jeep flew us out here to Austin, Texas, and built this course that let us experience the new 4xe, but we want to get that out there right away.
Yes, so we're going to have to wait till we get it back to Colorado for some more thorough off-road hardcore testing, but I'm curious to see what their course will be like.
I interrupt this video for this week's TFL Bids bargain. We have some really cool trucks and off-road SUVs for sale. But if you're looking for a cool overland camping Jeep, there is very, very few better than this one. This is a 2015 Jeep Wrangler JK. It's a Rubicon. It's built up with a small lift, off-road wheels and tires. It's in great shape with low miles, but it also has a very nice Ursa Minor tent system on top. These are very, very difficult to find these days, but we have it. Use the link in the description below to check it out and bid on it. And don't forget, you can submit your own truck or SUV for sale using the link Submit a Vehicle and have it go to a like-minded enthusiast.
Now, you can only go about 21 miles in all-electric mode.
Yep.
But the EV mode works in the low range as well, and Jeep says that you can get a few hours of rock crawling on
a full battery.
A single charge, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they were saying that when you're doing this kind of slow speed crawling stuff, you don't use a whole lot of electricity.
Yeah, let's talk some numbers, okay? 450 pound-foot of torque down.
470.
470, which is the same as the 392.
375 horsepower.
You also have 3,500 pounds of towing, which is the exact same that a regular Wrangler would have.
Right. A lot more weight than a standard Wrangler.
Yes, it's like between 500 and 700 pounds heavier. So I think what they wanted to do was basically not compromise any of the Wrangler's off-road ability. So you have 2 high, 4 high auto, 4 high normal, and then 4 low. So you may be wondering to yourself, what's the use of having a plug-in Wrangler when the battery's dead at the trailhead? Well, Jeep has thought of that by installing these solar electric car chargers in places like Moab and the Rubicon Trail. Except there's a problem, and that is it takes about 2.5 hours to charge the battery from nothing to full, so you may be waiting around a while.
Now, these large solar-powered installations are done in partnership with Electrify America, and inside here is a large, big old chunky battery, so if there's no sun, you can still charge. Now, in practice, does it make sense to stop for 2.5 hours to charge? No, because these are plug-in hybrids. You might as well just keep going along your way with gasoline.
Check it out, right there are 5 little lights, and when all 5 are lit up, that means the Jeep is fully charged.
Right now we are entering some water, and the engineer was telling me that these 400 volt connections in the high voltage system are very, very water resistant. He said that should not be a concern. Now we are cruising through this marshy land here, and rear locker is engaged. Front sway bar disconnect is also engaged. I'm in hybrid mode right now because my battery is depleted, but it feels just as easy to modulate as any other Wrangler. That's a lot of fun.
You can tell a plug-in hybrid Wrangler Rubicon from a standard one by the blue. There is a lot of electric blue accents all throughout. In the front here, electric blue tow hooks. This one has these electric blue graphics along the top of the hood. Rubicon here, you guessed it, electric blue. Interestingly enough though, these badges on the side are green. No, they're not, they're blue. Blue is found throughout the vehicle. On the inside you got stitching on the steering wheel and on the seats, but not every 4xe has the blue.
Oh, Tommy, you are not 100% right, because look, the Sahara has a blue trail rated badge and blue Wrangler Unlimited, so it doesn't have the blue tow hooks, but nevertheless you can tell this is a 4xe because there are blue accents.
But of course, probably the biggest way is to look for the little charge door. Now the 4xes have that charge port located up here by the A-pillar. You'll notice so it's a little bit off to the side so the windshield can still fold down. Pop it open, and that right there is a standard J1772 charge plug that you find with most EVs except Teslas.
All right, Tommy, so how long does it take to charge up on level 1? In other words, the wall plug, or a level 2?
Well, your standard 3-prong at home here in the States will take about 12.5 hours from empty to full, but if you have a level 2 240 volt charger in your garage, for example, that'll take just a couple hours.
And how many miles of all EV do you get for that? 21.
Yeah, 21.
I beat you to it.
It's not a huge number, but it is a huge vehicle, and there is a huge amount of weight.
Dude, it's a brick into the wind, let's face it. They have not made a lot of
concessions for efficiency.
Right, it's all about, you know, being a Jeep with a capital J. Now, if you really want to get the top of the line 4xe, there are really 3 models. There's the Sahara, the Rubicon, and then there's this, the high altitude, which is the most expensive one you can get. Think of this as the one with all the bells and whistles for the city, but not for off-road. And by the way, Sahara starts at about 47. This goes up to about 53,000. So it gets expensive when you get into the fancy Jeeps.
All right, so we're coming across some articulation here. We've got the front sway bar disconnected, which should be exactly what we need for this nice little crack. This has the same ground clearance and the same approach and departure angle as every other Wrangler.
Hey, do you have enough energy? Can you do this in all electric?
No.
You sure?
I have 1% battery.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That's not going to do it in full EV mode. These have been driven around all day on electricity, and unfortunately we are out of it. Oh! Now we're on electricity. Look at this.
Look at that. All electric.
Keep coming. Right there, keep it right there.
So what's it like in all electric, dude?
Well, it doesn't like the 2-footing thing as much, but it does have immediate response, which is really cool. So you can just ever so slightly modulate the throttle and it'll crawl up that. That's pretty easy.
So now we are coming down this nasty, nasty little rock wall. Ooh, that was exciting. Now this does have full skid plates. No need to worry about scraping anything underneath and puncturing the battery. The battery is actually underneath the rear seat above the frame rail, so that is super well out of the way, and all the connections are shielded pretty darn well by all kinds of skid plates and underbody protection. Made that hill look easy. The Wrangler 4xe has 3 different drive modes. First of all, electric, that's going to operate the vehicle as an electric car for up to 21 miles on a single charge. Then of course it's going to default to hybrid, that is a mix of electricity and gasoline driving. And of course e-save is pretty cool, that's going to operate it primarily as a gasoline vehicle, therefore saving the electric charge if you want to, for example, use it later on the trail. Here in the center screen is a page called E-Hybrid, and this is a detailed look at how the 4xe operates. So in this right-hand portion, you can actually see 3 different metrics: engine, battery, and climate. This is going to show you how the vehicle's operating. So for example, as you drive along with the gasoline engine on, it's going to display kilowatts from the gas engine. If you're running on electricity, it'll show kilowatts from the battery. Climate control will show you how many kilowatts your heating and air conditioning are using. There's also the e-save page here, and in this page you can actually set it so that it will charge the battery as you drive along in that e-save mode if you've completely depleted it, for example. There's also driving history and charging scheduling, so you can charge when it's cheapest at home. The gauge cluster is set up a little bit differently than a standard Wrangler as well. So here on the left is a tachometer. This is for engine RPM, gasoline engine RPM, that's pretty similar. In the middle we've got the trip info. Now that little number on the upper right that says 94, that is the current battery charge, and on the right side of the gauge cluster we've got a little indicator that shows you whether or not you're charging the battery or using power. Well, we had a debacle.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a debacle. I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm always trying to shoot the most interesting angle, and this stuff is super slick. You think it's a rock and you think I have good shoes on, but apparently not so good. Luckily nothing was broken, just
Oh, that looks so bad, Dad.
just cut a new pair of jeans and a little bit of Neosporin, and yeah, I could have broken something.
Are you gonna need stitches, you think?
No, just need some Neosporin and a bandage.
Okay.
All right.
So I've been driving around in battery save for a little while now, and what I've been doing is actually putting electricity back into the battery. So now I can go ahead and stick it on electric mode for this gnarly little climb. Still in low range. And I'm going to go ahead and lock the front locker as we attempt this little climb. Brutal. And there we go, we had it. So, even in electric mode, plenty of torque to spin all four with the front and the rear lockers engaged. So it was just a little bit of additional power. We were able to crawl right up that. The engine is still turned off, which is pretty cool. Oh, we're gonna come down this pretty gnarly looking little hill. You really feel the weight going down the hill. You gotta be really careful on brake pressures. It does everything that a Wrangler is supposed to do though. And I have slammed into those skids pretty hard a few times here, but they are built to take the pressure.
You know, Tommy, I'm gonna remember this program. I got myself a hill country tattoo. But in terms of the Jeep, you know, it's a Wrangler Rubicon. It does everything that you'd want a Rubicon to do, and it does it quietly. So what more would you want than that, Tommy?
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun out on the trail.
It sure is. And let's make up a story about this. Maybe I did it like pushing you up the hill or something, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. See you guys next time. Ciao.